Hey there, day 2 of prepping out for the third tunnel. A couple weeks ago we dug out the ditch that's below where the third tunnel is going to go, and we also leveled out the ground and filled in some spots down low and worked on some of the drainage, and things have been improved significantly. Today we're going to prep out this ground here, and we're going to tarp it in a few days and prep out all that stuff for planting in the fall, and I'll get into all those details and share with you what's going on. But one thing is, this edge here is the first thing we have to deal with. We have a lot of grass and other things growing here, and we got to clean that up a little bit before we pull the tarp over. And so first things first is we're going to get the landscape fabric that's been in that ditch for the last little bit of time. We're going to pull that up and then clear out all this stuff before we start tilling. Over here along the edge, and some things that I've noticed over the last 6 months or so is that this edge is too close to the tunnel, and you guys know I really don't like mowing, and some of this stuff gets kind of tall and the seeds will blow in, and pretty much the beds that had the most weed pressure this season have been these 2 beds along the bottom here, just from things blowing in. So moving down past the third tunnel here, we're gonna have a slightly different design, and I'll talk to you guys about that. But you want to make sure you're maintaining your edges and your perimeters, because you can get a lot of weeds blowing in that way. So as I said, we're going to pull up the landscape fabric and weed whack this out before we start tilling over here. And pro tip, anytime you're doing any mowing or weed whacking or anything like that near the tunnel or near your beds, you make sure you close up the tunnel so the stuff doesn't fly in. So that's what we're going to do. Got that all knocked down, and I'm not really worried about all the pieces because this whole area is going to get tarped and I'll have plenty of time to break down, so it should be fine. But I just wanted to clear it out so we could work in here. We're going to till this now, and we're going to use the BCS with the just regular tiller on here. So big shout out to Brendan at Weaver Acres for letting us borrow this. It's been really helpful. He's been letting us use this for breaking ground and stuff, and this is the only time I ever use a tiller or BCS is to prep ground. And you guys know I'm a no-till guy, but I've said this many times, I don't have a problem with disturbing the ground one time to do the groundwork that you need to do, and then build your beds and don't disturb it anymore. And it's really important to get everything straightened out before you build beds, because those are permanent beds. So anything you have to do ahead of time, get it done, and then you should be good moving forwards. Did 2 passes with the tiller, and it is feeling pretty fluffy, so hopefully we'll be able to work with it pretty well. But there's a lot of grass here, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make one more pass just to try to break up the grass a little bit more, and then we'll start smoothing it out as best as possible. I'm not sure about our lines that we have in terms of the ditch, so we're going to have to recheck those and maybe have to move some soil around. I think the third pass did a really nice job. It is feeling pretty fluffy right now, and remember, after you till, it compacts even more. So what we want to do is try to smooth it out as much as possible before we start thinking about putting the tarp on here. But you know what? It is starting to feel real. This project, as we started planning it and thinking about it lately, it's starting to feel real, and I can't wait to put seeds in the ground in probably November. And if you're looking for seeds, I highly recommend today's sponsor, which is Osborne Quality Seeds. Osborne is an incredible company. I've gotten a lot of very reliable seeds from them, and they also talk to me and let me know what works best in my situation and get feedback about what's working in this area, so they have more information to give to other growers. They really pride themselves in getting the right seeds for your context, and everything I've gotten from them is incredible, and I have a great relationship with them. I really want to thank them for sponsoring this channel, and I'll leave links down below for you guys to check out. Got this all smoothed out, and it looks awesome. Really happy with how it came out. I think this will be a good base for building beds out here. So now I got to mark out where this tunnel is going to go. We've done this in the past, but we pulled up the stakes as we were doing some earthwork and had to put them back in. So what I did to do this is I just ran a string between the posts at the end of tunnel 2, and then dragged that out until it was perpendicular here, and that gave me the edge of where the tunnel is going to go. And then I marked out 3.5 feet here for the top ditch and 14 feet for the tunnel, and then the back ditch will be 3.5 feet as well. And so now that we have that marked out, I'm gonna go do that on the other side, and so that way we can make sure everything's square and we'll know where our tunnel's gonna go. Got everything pretty well sorted out here, and now we start working on this ditch and the area below the ditch. So when my buddy Jake was here with his little skid steer type thing, he cleared this out for the most part, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run the tiller through this just to loosen the soil so we can move it around a little bit and sort of clean up some of the edges and stuff like that. And we'll work on that. And then after that, I'm gonna start working on this area over here to try to level this out as best as possible. Pretty toasty day out here in late July, but we got all the BCS work done as planned. This area here where I'm standing is where the third tunnel is gonna go. It got all tilled and raked smooth. The ditch here below the third tunnel got tilled up and we were able to shovel some stuff around to make it work better. And then the area below that ditch, I also tilled up, and the reason for that is what I was talking about before of having more of a buffer between the grass and the tunnels and my beds. So we're gonna leave a little bit of a buffer below that ditch, and then we're gonna put a nice big hedgerow out here and a bunch of wood chips and create a bigger buffer. But the main reason behind the hedgerow, which you guys know I love that idea, I've been doing it around different parts of the farm here, but also I did that at Raleigh City Farm, is to have an area where we can plant plants that host beneficial insects and pollinators and also create more diversity on the farm and make it prettier and all that kind of stuff. So that's the plan. We'll be doing that out in the fall, and I'll keep you guys posted about what goes in there. We'll be doing some experiments and, you know, figuring out what works and what doesn't work, and should be a lot of fun. So what goes on from here? Well, we're gonna eventually tarp this, and I'm waiting for the tarp to show up. Hopefully it's coming tomorrow, and it's also supposed to rain tomorrow. So ideally, you would, if you're gonna do a till, you wanna till it, you wanna get it really wet, and what that does is when you till it, a lot of those weed seeds come up to the surface. You want them to get wet so they'll germinate, but you cover it with the tarp. As soon as they germinate, they start to grow, and they can't see any sunlight, so they die. So ideally, you wanna get it nice and moist and then cover it up with the tarp. Some of you are gonna ask me about cover crops, and I really thought about trying to squeeze them in, but I really don't have time. So I'm hoping that the compost is gonna be ready for me to start building beds like late October, early November. And so I don't really have time. My main goal right now is to kill everything that's here so I don't have any weeds in my beds. And I need as much time as possible in the summertime. There's a lot of serious grasses and other things growing out here that I wanna try to kill as best as possible and give the best chance to get that done. So if I had more time, or if I wasn't gonna be planning on using so much compost, cover crops would be more important. But in my context right now, with the time frame I have, that's what I'm gonna do. So I'll show you guys, I'll keep you guys updated on all this kind of stuff, but really, really solid start. Again, big thanks to Brendan from Weaver Acres, and I did a great video with Brendan last year. I'll put a link down below for that. And also big thanks to Osborne Seeds, and of course, go check them out if you already haven't checked them out before, or maybe you should go check out what they have. Awesome company. Leave links down below. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Please hit subscribe if you're not already, and we'll see you in the next one. It's all about the shout outs. I think the third pass did a really nice job. It is feeling pretty fluffy, and remember, after you till it, come back.
You need to retie the string.
No. Got this all raked out. Tiller through here to loosen up the soil so we can shovel it around and level it. Come on, son. Oh, come on, Cloud. So this was sort of chiseled out with when pretty hot here today, but we got all the BCS work done. It's pretty hot here today, but we did get all the BCS